Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, co-creator of Unlock Her Legs, and in this video, we're going to talk about 3 reasons a girl will go cold when she seemed to really like you. And if you're like most guys, you've experienced this at least once in your life, where there was a girl who seemed really into you, and then all of a sudden, she just kind of disappeared or lost interest. So, I was working with one of my private coaching clients, and for the sake of this video, let's call him Steve. That's not his real name, but Steve ran into a problem, into a dilemma that a lot of guys face. And they especially face this when they start getting good at attracting girls, when they study this stuff and they've gone out and they learn some flirting techniques. What they find out is that they have trouble keeping the ones that they really want. So Steve told me a story about how he'd recently met a girl through a mutual friend, and he had that total, guy in love way of describing her, how she was hot and smart, and she seemed totally into me, and we were talking almost every day. And then she went cold. He said, all of a sudden, I could just tell that things had changed. I could just feel in my gut that it was over. And we've all probably at some point had that experience where you just kind of get that gut level, like something's different sort of feeling. Sure enough, a week later, she started making excuses why she couldn't hang out, and finally, she was gone. So what did Steve do wrong? Well, it was 3 main things, and pay attention, because these 3 things might be holding you back too. And if you've ever had a girl just kind of change her opinion on you or sort of disappear without warning, chances are you did one, if not all 3 of these. So what I did was I had Steve send me some transcripts of the text messages that he had with her, and I kind of asked him, how did the phone calls go, and when you saw her, I just kind of wanted to get a feel for where he might have messed up. So I also asked him some pretty intimate questions about how he felt about her, and also how he expressed it to her. So what I determined going through his text messages and talking to him was that he was way too needy. Yes, that's an obvious one, but here's the thing with neediness. Most guys assume because they feel a certain way towards a girl that she feels the same way, and they think, I can finally drop the game. Unfortunately, he can't. So as I scanned over Steve's text, I noticed that he continually sent her things like, so what are you doing today? And he always wanted to just be in contact with her. He always kind of had to know what she was doing, what she was up to. If he hadn't talked to her, he had to send her a ping. And he also never ended the exchange first. He was always the last one to text. She was always the one to be like, all right, and kind of end it and not text him back, which is also never a good sign. So one of the other things that I noticed he did was he expressed major disappointment the few times she turned down one of his invites to hang out. When a girl is still making up her mind about you, you've got to avoid putting any pressure on her to make a quick decision. This is because almost always she's going to choose a decision you don't like. If a girl feels pressure, she's going to back away. There's that saying that we chase that which retreats from us, and it's also true that we run away from something that's chasing us. And if she notices you're chasing her, she's going to retreat. So the best way to do this is to never make up your mind about a girl too soon. Be the one holding out to make sure that she's the one you really want. Don't put her in the position of judging you. Be the one that's in the position of judging her. The ironic thing is that when you take this attitude, you'll find that she actually becomes the one that gets a little needy. So the second reason a girl loses interest, and I noticed this a lot with Steve, while Steve's game dramatically improved over the past year, he still had a self-image of a guy who got picked on in high school, and he was never quite comfortable around the cool crowd. And what a lot of dating instructors fail to tell you is that once you start meeting hotter girls, you're going to have to start socializing with a different crowd. And you've got to be comfortable in those situations. Steve wasn't, and his insecurity was obvious. He had what I refer to as the us versus them mentality with hot chicks and alpha kind of cool guys, where he still sort of resented that he wasn't part of that club, and he tried to make himself feel better by criticizing them and pointing out their deficiencies, which only served to make him come across as petty and insecure to the girls that he was talking to. So another thing that will kill a girl's interest in a guy. Now, younger guys can get away with this a little bit more than older guys, and that's lack of ambition. Because once you're over 25 years old, a woman will immediately recognize where you fit on the totem pole. And most women much rather prefer to be with a guy who has the attitude of, I'm going to conquer the world. Now, on the other hand, Steve worked at a job he hated, and he bitched about it constantly. See, ambition turns women on, period, and a poor me attitude turns them off just as quickly. If you want a woman to be excited about being with you, you need to be excited about your future, about where you're going in life. You want to make her want to come along for the ride. Don't make it seem like a burden, like hanging out with you is going to be this burden of life she's going to have to go through where you hate your job and you hate your friends and you don't really want to do anything. Make yourself an opportunity that she can't pass up. See, as you can see, keeping a girl interested in you after you have her attracted is a lot more of an internal thing. You can fake a girl out in a bar. You can fake her out for a few dates. But if you're not the total package internally, you can bet your last penny that she's going to realize it sooner or later. Now, I want to teach you a powerful seduction strategy. It's actually a mind game that my co-creator Rob and I call the Scrambler. The reason it's important to learn this is because it kind of flips a switch in your mind, and you'll begin to see what a girl wants, and you'll be able to deliver it to her in a very methodical way. So we put together a video where you're going to learn powerful ways to make a girl think about you constantly and even become obsessed with you. And the great thing about that is when you notice that a girl's obsessed with you, you lose some of that insecurity, and it kind of makes you into a more confident person. It's going to show you how to turn a female friend into a girlfriend. And one of the main reasons you got in the friend zone in the first place is because you didn't have this right attitude. And the video is also going to show you how to have a girl, especially a female friend or a coworker or maybe a girl you have class with, how to get her to start fantasizing about sleeping with you. And it's going to do this by showing you specific things in her mind that you can kind of, if you ever saw the movie Inception, where they plant ideas in the mind, I'm going to show you how you can actually plant ideas in a girl's mind and get her thinking about you when you're not around. So click the video below and you'll learn this mind game that we created called the Scrambler that you can use on girls. Check it out.